Well, a very good afternoon from Phuket, and today is Tuesday the 28th of April. I thought today we would come outside of the home. This area where I'm currently in now is not far from where I live, and this is the area where we normally come and bring Shadow a walk. So I thought I'd do today's vlog from here just to give a little bit of a different background. As always, I'm going to start off with the figures for today, talk about the last few days, what we've seen as regards numbers wise, and then there has been a few announcements which I will come to once I've got the figures out of the way. So for today's figures, there has been 7 new cases all over Thailand, and unfortunately those 7 cases have been right here in Phuket. Most of them have been reported in Bantao, and 1 case was just outside of Phuket town, I believe, which takes Thailand's total to 2,938. Unfortunately, we have also seen 2 deaths today, which brings the total of deaths now to 54. While I'm on the figures, I want to do the recovered figures as well, because I don't do those very often, and some people want to know what the figures are for recovery. So the recovered figures stand as of today: 2,652 people have recovered. Now, I did notice on yesterday's announcement as regards recoveries, the current rate of recovery stands at 89% for Thailand, so not too bad on the recoveries. Also, the figures for the last few days, 4 or 5 days since I did my last video, we've seen figures coming out at 15, 9. We did have a slight blip on the 25th of April, a few days ago, where we saw the figures increase to, let me just double check, 53 cases, and the reason for that is there were quite a few migrant workers within those reported cases, unfortunately. So we did have a slight increase on that day, but the rest of the time they've stayed below 20. Now, as we're coming towards the end of the month, of course people will be aware that we've been in a state of emergency now for 1 month. That was due to finish, the emergency decree, should I say, was due to finish at the end of the month. However, that has now been extended and will run until the 31st of May. Also with that, it takes the curfew that we currently have here in Thailand, 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. has also been extended. That was due again to finish at the end of this month, but that has been extended now also to the 31st of May. Travel restrictions as regards international flights, that has also been extended to the 31st of May. So no international flights coming into Thailand apart from the exemptions, which are flights that are coming in empty to take any tourists that may be stuck here in Thailand home, and also the repatriation of any Thais that are coming back to Thailand. They are also allowed to come into the country, and there are 1 or 2 other small exemptions, but apart from that, no international flights are allowed into the country, and that will stand now until the 31st of May. Now, there has been an announcement today on the TV from the Prime Minister, and they are now looking at measures that will stay in place for the next 4 weeks, and also any measures that may be eased. There is now talk, nothing's been 100% confirmed as yet, and we are still waiting for confirmation on a lot of this, but there has been some talk that some travel restrictions may be eased inside the actual country. They are saying that some domestic flights, as from next week, will resume. Phuket is not one of those destinations. I believe Chiang Mai is a destination that will open for just domestic travel, and a few other places as well. However, there will be strict measures in place, such as social distancing, temperature checking at airports, etc. Those measures will, of course, stay in place, but they are going to ease some of the travel restrictions internally in the country, but not all, of course. Exactly which ones we don't know yet. We're waiting to see. There has also been talk here on the island that the governor has proposed easing some of the district restriction of movements here on the island. There are 4 areas that are considered to be hotspots that are not going to have the restrictions removed as yet, and those areas are of course Patong, Chantilly, Rassadar, Wichit. So those places will remain with the district restrictions, so you can't enter or leave those districts. There is again talk that they may narrow it down to specific areas within that district, so areas outside of the hotspots people are going to be able to move around, but again nothing's been confirmed. We are hoping that our district where we live in, because we haven't had any reported cases in this area for some time, I think there's only been one, if I remember right, in the area where I live, as far as I can remember now. I think there's just been one case reported, and that was some time back. We are hoping that they will lift the district restriction, so we're going to be able to travel into some of the other districts, because of course shopping and things like that, some of the supermarkets, the larger ones, are not in our area and we have to travel to them. At the moment we're not allowed to do that, but maybe next week there's going to be some easing of those restrictions. The governor's waiting for the okay from Bangkok, basically from the government in Bangkok, to say whether he can do that or not. And we also are hoping that some of the restrictions, there is now talk as regards the restrictions on businesses, are going to be eased. Not all businesses are going to be allowed to open, of course, and again there's going to be strict measures in place. Hopefully we're going to see some of the businesses allowed to operate, and I'm hoping personally that our business is in with that sort of area of the businesses that are going to be allowed to open back up, but we don't know yet 100%. We're still waiting for confirmation on that, so over the next few days hopefully that will be clarified. But there has been some talk now amongst the government of easing some of the business restrictions, because of course the economy is taking a battering here in Thailand. Here in Phuket, the economy, we get a lot of business from obviously tourism. There is no tourism here at the moment because of course all the restrictions and everything, so this the economy here in Phuket is really taking a battering. So that's going to really help if some businesses can start to open up and operate. Of course we need to keep in mind that we need to take precautions. I'm not saying that everything should go back as it was before, because that's not going to be the case, but at least there is some movement and some light at the end of the tunnel. It looks like the government are going to allow some of the less high risk businesses to start operating. Of course there's going to be no gathering of large number of people, bars are going to remain closed, cinemas, places of a high risk are going to remain closed for the time being. So I think I've covered everything for today. I've mentioned about the domestic flights, some domestic flights resuming, but only a few, not too many. Phuket isn't one of those areas. As far as I know, the airport is remaining closed for the foreseeable future. I'm not sure when that's going to be opening back up. There's been no real definite answers on that. People are asking about that, but I've not heard any actual information to say when there's going to be an actual date of the airport opening up. As far as I know, the island is also still closed off and going to remain so you can't pass over the Saracen Bridge to go onto the mainland. I'm not sure whether that is going to be eased next week or not. We are, as I say, still waiting for more confirmation. So I think that's brought me right up to date for today. I hope you've enjoyed the change of scenery, something a little bit different. Of course, gets me out the house, has a little bit of exercise. We are staying home as much as possible, but it is starting to get a little bit too much with the weather and everything else. This is the area that I normally bring the dog to take her a walk. So a bit of a lagoon over the back. It used to be really full to the top, but now with all the water trucks it's very, very low. I don't know whether you can make that out, but the water level is very low in there now. I did mention on my last video that the weather has started to change. We are seeing rain. However, the last 2 or 3 days we haven't had any rain, even though the skies have been quite cloudy. So let's keep our fingers crossed for a little bit more water and rain, because we need it here in Phuket and the reservoirs are very low. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then please do consider subscribing, as this is a great place to learn about not only Phuket but Thailand in general. So I'd like to say thank you for watching the video, and also mention thank you for all the comments on my last video where I asked for your thoughts and some feedback on why we were seeing so low deaths here in Thailand. Some interesting comments, I must admit. Food for thought. I have taken on board what some people have said, of course. If you have any comments, then please do post them in the comment section down below. I can't guarantee on getting back to every question that you ask me. I do try my best, but sometimes you have to bear with me because I do get a lot of emails, questions and comments, etc., that I try to keep up with as best as I can. Well, I think that's brought me up to everything I want to say today. So as I say, thanks for watching the video, and until next time, I will catch you on the next one.
Right.